Hello, 大家好, I is Marguerite, and welcome back to my little Cantonese corner. Today we are talking about characters that cause me a little bit of frustration when learning Cantonese, and those are the characters that start or sound like Fong in English, F-O-N-G, Fong. Some of these characters are displayed here. We're going to go through them one by one and take a look at how they differ and how they can cause some confusion, especially if you're living in Hong Kong and you see some of these out and about around town. Now, there are over 20 different characters that have the pronunciation F-O-N-G in their different tones. And some of them, as you can imagine, have the same tone and the same character that has the same two different tones. And yes, I'm talking about this one right here, especially, which can be pronounced as Fong or Fong. Also interesting about Fong is that there are no characters in the 5th and 6th tones, which are your Fong and Fong. Just a low flat Fong and a low rising Fong. So if you think that I'm wrong and my dictionaries and all my research is wrong and you can think of characters that have the Fong and Fong pronunciation, be sure to comment below. We're going to start right at the top with the first high tone, Fong, Fong. Now this one has a host of definitions attached to it, and we'll go through some of them. But first I wanted to point out that it is a radical all by itself. So if you look at this card here, it's all in blue. And I use these flashcards when I'm teaching my students characters, traditional characters in Cantonese pronunciation. And this one right here, all in blue, it's a radical. What are radicals? Radicals are how they organize a Chinese dictionary. They are the fundamental building blocks of Chinese characters. And this radical here, Fong, has about 12 or 13 characters underneath it that use this as its radical. However, none of the ones we look at today have this as its radical. It's not surprising because another role that some of these play, the parts of the characters play, is to give you a pronunciation hint. So when you look at these next few characters we're going to go through after the Fong, you'll be able to tell like, oh, okay, if I see that, it might be the radical, or it might be giving me a clue into how it's going to be pronounced. And if you want to learn more about radicals, I actually did an entire video on them, which I'll put a link in the description box and you can go and watch that for more information. Okay, so now let's get into some character combinations using the Fong. Now, when you're out and about and you go to a bakery in Hong Kong, you probably know how to say bread, which is min bao. Min bao is bread. However, if you're looking for a certain type of bread, which is square in nature, and it's sometimes called sandwich bread or sliced bread, that is not just min bao, it is fong bao, fong bao. So if you're told to go and buy some sandwich bread, that's what you're going to be asking for, fong bao. Next one up is convenient. Now I'm always saying that a reason that I love living in Hong Kong is because it is ho fong bin. Ho fong bin. Fong bin is convenient. Okay, if you're stuck in a situation, but you have a method, you have a way, that is called fong fan. Another way this character is used is in the English word place. Dei fong, dei fong. Kind of related to a place, fong is also used in direction. So you have direction would be fong heng, fong heng. Similarly, the fong is also used in directions meaning your dong, lam, sai, bak, your east, south, west, and north. So for example, in China, there's 2 airlines, and there might be more, called the Eastern Airlines, China Eastern and China Southern. And you'll see the name on their airplane as 中國東方航空公司 or 中國南方航空公司. I always think the 航空公司 is so difficult to say, but yeah, 航空公司 is an airline company. Okay, the last one up for our Fong is going to be a surname, a family name. Mr. Fong would be Fong Xin Sang, all first high tones, Fong Xin Sang. And in Hong Kong, there is a canto pop singer, star, called Alex Fong, and his name is so simple to write. It is Fong Lek Sun. Fong Lek Sun is Alex Fong. Now you might be thinking of another canto pop legend, Anita Mui, and she does have Fong in her name, but it's a different character, and we're going to get to that one very soon. But now let's move on to the second mid-rising Fong, and this one is going to be represented by our interview. An interview for media or on social media, people are always going around town interviewing people. They are Fong Man. Fong Man is to interview in the sense of not like a job interview, but an interview for the media or social media. Now we're going to move on to the third midtone, and this one has some fun character combinations in it. The first one here, all by itself, means to put or place. So if you're going to put something here, right? Fong hai dou, Fong hai dou. But maybe there's no space there. So you're like, Fong hai dou, and you're like, mo地方. 我想放喺度，但冇地方. So you can hear the difference in the Fong and the Fong. Okay, moving on to dismiss. This Fong you're going to hear a lot when you're talking about work or school. You're going to Fong gong, and that means to get off of work, to end your workday, Fong gong. So if I asked you, 你放幾點? 你放幾點? 你放幾點啊? Would be, what time are you off work in English? What time are you off? What time do you get off work? And you would say, 我放4點, 我放6點, 我放3點, like that. The same is true for school. If you Fong học would be to be dismissed or released from school. Now, similar to dismiss is release. So this one meaning to release would be like if someone's telling you to relax, right? Relax would be Fong song. You might hear that at a doctor's office or at the massage. When you go for a massage and they're telling you, just relax, right? Fong song di would be like relax a little bit more, right? Another one that's kind of related would be to tell you not to worry, right? Don't worry would be Fong sam, right? Fong sam is don't worry. Similar to release is to let go of something. So if you're holding on to something and somebody's saying like, let go, they'll be saying Fong sao, right? Fong sao is to let go. Fong sao is to literally let go. But if you're talking about letting go of something that's just maybe something that's not a thing, then they could say Fong hei, right? Fong hei. Fong hei is to also let go, but not something that's literally in your hand. Now, similar to release is to let off, let out, I guess. And for that one, you'd be saying like break wind. If you break wind, you're going to be Fong pei, right? Fong pei. Both third mid-tone Fong pei is to basically, yes, break wind. Another fun one is if you are stood up. So you go to meet somebody and they don't come, and somebody asks you like, oh, how was your time last night with them? And they're like, I don't know, 佢放飛機. Fong fei gei. Fei gei, as you probably know, is airplane. So if you Fong fei gei, it means you were stood up or you stood somebody up. It basically means stood up. And something else that you set off by Fong is going to be Fong yin fa. Fong yin fa is to set off the fireworks, which happens a lot here in Hong Kong. Most holidays, they usually celebrate by Fong yin fa. So you're going to hear that a lot if you're living here. Now, also in the same vein is if you have a dog, and there's so many dogs here in Hong Kong. That's one thing I really noticed after coming back is how many dogs. And I know, of course, COVID had a lot to do with that all over the world. More people were welcoming dogs into their homes, and it's certainly true in Hong Kong. A lot of dogs here. And when you let your dog out, you are Fong gao. Fong gao. Fong gao means to let your dog out, take it for a walk, let it do its business. Fong gao. Oh, and I forgot to show you, this is the card for the Fong, put or place, Fong. And this one you can tell the radical is in blue and it's not our Fong, right? There's your Fong on this side, giving a pronunciation hint, but it's not the radical. Okay, moving on from tone 3, we have tone 4, and that is your low falling Fong. Fong. Now this one causes me a lot of confusion because there are actually 2 tones to this. You can either say Fong, or you can say Fong in the mid-rising, Fong or Fong. This is the card for the Fong. And you can tell that in blue is the radical and in black it's not. But the Fong character is in black. It is not our radical. It would be this one here, which is Wu. Wu. And it has everything to do with houses, which is what this character means. It could be a house. It could be, let's see, a room, a cubicle, a house, a cottage, a building, a house-like structure, a branch of an extended family is our Fong. But remember, it could be Fong, and it can also be Fong. So let's take a look in your house, because in your house, you've got a few rooms, and those are going to be taking the mid-rising Fong pronunciation. So for example, you have your bedroom, which is Sui Fong, and you have your kitchen, Chu Fong, and you might even have a storeroom in your house, which would be your Si To Fong. That would be like a little storeroom. But remember, in your house, you've got a living room, which is most often called your Peng, and you have a bathroom, which is more often than not called your Qi Saw would be your bathroom. So when are you going to use Fong, that low-falling Fong? Well, you'd be using it for a pharmacy. Your Yue Fong is going to be a pharmacy. Or if you go to a garage, it's going to be your Che Fong, both in your house or outside your house, and also a garage that you take your cars to. Okay, Fong has no fifth or sixth tone. So we're going to move on to a few honorable mentions that I would like to include. The first is going back to the high tone, Fong, but different. You'll notice this character here is a little bit different from our radical Fong, and this one is used in Cantopop legend Mui Yin Fong, and her name there, Mui Yin Fong, Anita Mui, very famous, legendary Cantopop actress and singer. You'll also see this Fong around town in Kwai Fong. Kwai Fong is an MTR stop in an area on the Red Line in Hong Kong, Kwai Fong. Now you might be thinking that I'm missing a very popular place in Hong Kong that also is pronounced Fong, but that place is going to have this character, which means lane or alley, and that's going to be found in Central on Hong Kong Island, the Lan Kwai Fong district. Lan Kwai Fong is the very popular nightlife district, and it takes its name from a lane or an alley actually called Lan Kwai Fong. But remember that in English it's spelled with a K, and in Cantonese it's going to be spelled with a G. Not spelled, but it's going to be pronounced with a G. So Lan Kwai Fong is that nightlife district on the island in Central. The final honorable mention goes to those very honorable firefighters and fire trucks, anything to do with the fire department. You are going to be seeing a Fong, the low-falling Fong, which means to defend or protect, and you'll see it in Siu Fong. Siu, high tone Siu Fong. And that Siu Fong is going to be anything related to fire. So you are going to see around town the Siu Fong Che is going to be your fire truck, and Siu Fong Yun is going to be the firefighter. Siu Fong Yun. I hope that you found the video useful, and if you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me for more here on Cantonese Corner. And if you're interested in learning characters and conversation with me, head on over to our school community, which I will put a link in the description box. And there you can sign up for our free community, as well as take a look at some of the courses that I have on offer. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you here next time. Bye.